everything, and Judy might be talking about
Yeah,
this.
she's going to talk about that. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah,
It's
right.
unbelievable.
And I do, before you talk about the fur tail thing, I do have one little story about the duck feet. You know, we saw the picture of the duck feet up there. You know how the things happen in your life and you just get talking about things. Next thing you know, someone says something and go, you know, I think so, I remember something about that. Well, the Chinese used to come to the house, right, down by the lunchroom down there, in their big black Cadillacs. They always wore black suits, black Cadillacs, and they were just right, perfect. I mean, amazing, you know. Of course, we're sitting up, we're just farmers, you know, sitting up there. And I look down there and I go, guys, look at those people. I see this little kid. And later on in life, various circles and whatever, I got talking to a gentleman whose name was Harvey Wong. And Harvey Wong owned the Ming Dynasty restaurant on 76th and Good Hope, which is no longer there anymore. It's called something else anyway. And then he owned a place up in Monaco, you know. And so we got talking about this and that. And the other thing he goes, I don't know how the duck farm came up because it's just, I don't know, conversation. He says, I remember going to the duck farm with my father and grandfather. I said, did you have black Cadillacs? He said, yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. I know you. I've seen you before. And we just said, this is a pretty small world. You know? So that's the only story I have about duck feet. You know, and they were there to buy the duck feet, of course. You know, so. Anyway, Judy? Thank you.
There are lots of things here, so make sure you come up and look at them. You need me? Nope. So yes, the story always was that they sold everything but the quack.
And they're working on that.
And the story goes that my parents, Bud and Jean Savage, and Marge's parents, Bob and Lois Swans, and Arnold and Frances Lundstrup, and Arnold owned the Rambler dealership down here, just past the cemetery. They were all out to dinner one night, and the women decided that the one thing that they weren't taking advantage of was the duck manure. So they decided to start their own little company. Greg and Hugh, I think, were out shoveling. I think Marge said she was pulling weeds.
Her sister and I had to pull weeds after school.
The hemp plant.
Yes,
The
they were taller than I
non-CBD or whatever that stuff is. Hemp rope, the rope plant.
Rope.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they could shovel this manure and bag it. Where's the bag?
That's awesome. Can't believe you have that.
And took, I think they invested the three women invested a total of $120 into this business. And everybody started shoveling, and they originally took, I can't remember how, like 100 bags down to Antioch, Illinois. Well, pretty soon everybody was finding out about this duck manure and how inexpensive it was. They had to incorporate. They were having lots of fun going all over the area, and it got too big. They lasted maybe 2 years. I don't even know if they lasted that long.
I remember it got to where, speaking of Donnie Lukey, he would work at the duck farm, and then after work and after school, he would meet us off of 52nd or whatever that road is before the duck farm.
Okay, yeah.
Go there, and they had blacktop, and they'd lay all the duck manure is basically 80% sawdust is what it is, and they'd have it laid out on blacktop, and Donnie would come from the farm after work, then he would push it all together with the cat, and then we would shovel it in the bags. Well, then the talk was the women had to come up with money for a bagger, and I could see the bagger, so it would sew it shut, and then they had to buy that. Well, then they had to hire more people. Then it got more than the women wanted. They thought this was fun and this was going to be funny, but then it got big.
They had some fun weekends, and then all of a sudden it became a business.
They would go to conventions, gardening conventions and trying to sell their fertile. They had a display, and of course my dad involved. He loved that. And he built, and I don't have a picture of it, I wish I did, he built a Ferris wheel, and they put it in a kid's swimming pool, and they had the ducklings 2 or 3 days old, swimming around, and they would swim on this Ferris wheel and go around, and they would sell duck manure. They did hire researchers who developed a brochure up there how great this manure was. But after the convention, they'd go back to the hotel, and here they have a half a dozen 3-day-old, not chicks, ducklings. Well, then they put them in the bathtub and they play cards, and every 30 minutes somebody'd have to go and turn the heat lamp back on to keep the ducklings alive. They did that all night. So that was getting to be the end of their fun. It was fun. They had a lot of laughs.
It was fun until it became a business.
Yeah.
Steins used to carry it.
Yeah.
Steins carried it.
I bought a bag about 2 years ago at Stein's.
Really?
Yes. I wish I had kept it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was amazed.
The conveyor, when they did the processing of it, there was a house building down there, right? And then you would put the bags, it was on the conveyor belt thing, and you should fill it up somehow. Oh no, it came out of a big hopper, and then it filled it up. Then it had a heat. Wasn't it a heat thing? That invariably got stuck. And the conveyor keeps moving and the bag's not, and the next thing you know, it breaks. Some of it was a mess.
Yeah, I'm sure.
See, and I'm guessing, Greg, you didn't get too involved, because I think we were away at college by this time.
Yeah, I, in the summer I'd be back, and then, drawing it out, just working and picking up a job at night.
Yeah.
The new bag, though, has a different duck on it. I did notice that. It's not
Uh-oh,
just
not
that.
your drawing?
No, not my
Uh-oh.
duck.
That's what she forgot to tell you.
Uh-oh.
How did you get that bag designed, Judy?
Because one weekend when I was home from college, I think, I don't think I was in high school, they're like, well, we have this bag, we have to do something with it, draw a duck. So that's what happened.
With a rose.
Yeah, I don't know why. Well, because the compost is gonna grow that rose, you
Oh,
see.
of course.
Yes. That bag is designed by Judy Savage Bird.
But it was fun. Our parents had a lot of good laughs with
Yeah.
that.
Just another family thing that came out of C&D Duck Farm.
I wanted to say too, when you guys were talking, did we call him Pancho? The guy that killed 20,000 ducks a day, 5 days a week.
I
One
believe,
guy.
I saw an old, some brochure, and had anniversaries and birthdays and then years of service and that type of thing in it. And I believe, I read Ramon Gonzalez.
I
And,
don't remember his real name, but
and we just called it Pancho.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And-
he just stood there and, with a knife.
Not anymore, no.
No, reptile file.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Yeah. Reptile file.
20,000 ducks a day.
5 days a week.
Yeah. They would cut the shackles, and then you hang them on shackles upside down, so then they just turn out. So after he did his first thing with them, then they would be upside down, and they were so far until they bleed out. And then so it was the blood room then, and then all that blood was then cleaned up and sent out, for feed, mink food and all the.
Oh, you were grabbing
Yeah, we'll put up the-
They were shocked first, by the way.
Was that?
They went through a shocker first.
They're not normal.
Yeah, so they.
Yeah, electric shock.
They did electric shock.
Really?
But Blaine, didn't your grandpa, Jimmy, wasn't he in charge of the off-wall?
Me?
He was in charge of something back there, because.
The off-wall was the awful stuff.
Yeah, because.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I was around 12 years old, and I was in the packing part of the plant, and he was walking through, and he said, "Hey, Blaine, I put something in your coat pocket for you.
He was a
Take it home to your mom."
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, all right, I'll take it home." I took it was a bag of duck eyes.
And that's how I remember
That's
him.
Jimmy.
He was always joking about something like that,
So I
yeah.
said to my dad, "What is this?" He goes, "Those are duck eyes." Looked like marbles, but, yeah, he was back in that area.
And that's how it worked. The
Okay.
women that worked in the plant wanted to be home in the summer because their kids were home from school. So that's how all the high school kids then got jobs at the duck farms.
I was gonna comment that, thinking, being an adult now, looking back at that, to take an entire processing packing plant function, all the women leave and all the high school, college kids come in. It's not a gradual changeover,
In
it's like,
fairness, there were enough women that were still there that did like the picking, the feathers and so forth, but the guys, the high school guys did the crybacking.
mhm.
And then the girls, we would make boxes,
Yeah?
or, I mentioned to you before, Blaine's sister Diane and I were at the very end of the line after they got cryovac, and they'd come on a belt for us to take them off the belt and weigh and put the weight, write the weight on it, and then take it off to be boxed.
Yeah.
And if we talked too much, then we had a pile of ducks and they shut down the line and we'd be in
It's
big
like
trouble.
the Lucy show. The candy.
Yeah.
I want to hear from Dawn. Do you have anything to add to our story? Dawn is Clayton Dixon's granddaughter, and she was nice enough to give me a call.
Well, he had already died, you know, in 56, so he had already sold the farm to Bud Root and Walred, so I spent a lot of time at his house, but never at the duck farm,
Okay.
actually, so.
Yeah.
Do you remember how Clayton and Archie met?
No, that I don't know.
It was
There,
in college?
and that's what I was looking for. There's one piece of paper that, as I was looking on the internet, I found an article written by Irene Dixon.
Irene Martin?
She had memoir, it said, and she wrote about Clayton. Gosh, I want to find that paper. It's here somewhere. It's a single piece of paper. That's okay. That's all right.
I don't remember Irene.
Yeah. She said that for some reason Clayton was rooming with, I don't want to talk about it because I'm going to screw it up. But they were close in age anyways. Archie and Clayton were close in age. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say about that because I don't want to screw it up until I find my piece of paper. But anyways, I think Archie wanted to get out of the farm is from what I read, which he kind of did,
I
yeah.
actually have a picture
Changed
of
it
that
to-
farm with cattle on it. So in fact, there was cattle on that farm at one
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
But the story is, I don't know, maybe this is old folklore, but Archie didn't like winters, and he didn't like messing around with cows, and so he figured, I gotta find something I can do seasonally.
Right.
So in those days, you got a flock in the spring, and you kept it perpetuating, and then when it got cold, you killed them, and then there was something left, and they went to Florida. So they went to Marathon every winter.
Okay, how many people here did or have somebody that they know that worked at the duck farm? I would assume just about everybody. Right, it was a big employee. Bernice, you had something that you wanted to tell about your son Gary?
Yes, he started when he was in high school, he's still there today.
Yeah, he started in high school, and he's still there today, and he's just a little bit younger than me, so he's in 65, or how old is he?
67.
67.
Retired.
Yeah. Yeah. Gary, Stephens. Yeah. He works, do you know what he does, Bernice? What his job is?
Not really.
He just goes to the duck farm every day.
My son just got retired.
Richard? Her son or your son? Okay. Okay. Him and her both work there.
At the Grove plant, is that the Grove farm?
Well, he's at Maple Lake, he's now, but he started at the Grove, yeah. I don't know if at your farm up here, he started there when he was in high school. He had almost 50 years of duck farm.
What was his name?
Murdoch.
I did see a business card of Kevin Murdoch's in the staff.
Well, he's been there and his wife worked there too. She was 30-some years.
Yeah.
She was in charge of research. And he was in charge of line production now.
Oh, the Indiana?
In Indiana, yeah.
He moved down there when they
Yeah,
closed this.
they moved, so they moved up some of the Yorkville people down to Indiana?
He was trained by Russell Nielsen.
Yeah.
They made something to it.
Oh, absolutely right.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I bet, so that was probably after we were there, we were probably in school.
Who else has got a duck farm story? Otherwise, I'll turn you loose on these pictures. Be sure to come up and take a look at the great pictures. Blaine walked in with this one. It says the 1950 truck on it. This one I had in that slideshow, but it looks a lot better in color and blown up. There's some brochures here that the duck farm uses for marketing that have great pictures in. So I want to thank everybody for coming, and I hope you enjoyed our night with C&D Duck Farm. Oh, and thank Barb and Alan Keshke for cookies. Make sure you grab one of them. She must have got her electric company
Okay, Lynn here, I'm your photographer, yep, once again. So, you know, this was the C&D Duck Farm, and let's take a look at what was actually on the table. Okay, I did take a picture of the recipe so that you can get it. Okay, let's take a look. So here was the one that they were talking about, that was the grain. And, oh, I'm sure you can find lots of, when you start looking at newspapers.com. Let's look to see if we can find, here it is. Here, Marge, can you put your finger in the end of this?
to see that thing.
Yeah, let's check to see if we know any of these people. Here, I'll quick take a scan down them. We might have to do some facial recognition on something, but I bet we can find some. Who's that? Oh.
This is Bud Rude.
Okay.
And I bet this is Mr. Walrath.
Okay.
I wouldn't even after that. Oh, and this is Mr. Russ Nielsen.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Well, we'll see if anybody knows who it is. Let me know if you recognize anybody.
Billy and I we may not see each other for years.
So these are original newspapers, you can tell because they're yellowed. It's like to have all of the... Look at, there's Jerry over there. He's going to be, he's in collector's heaven.
Good stuff.
Oh, I know. There's nothing more fun than doing history seeking with friends. I love it. I love it.
It was very nice. It was good. I get you more when I taught night shift in high school.
And here was the one that was talking about her grandfather that was the welder.
Kenny's on the East Michigan.
This is what, I've seen this overhead picture before. And it is in the aerial photography.
Keith's here.
There's a lot of farms. They did that in Wisconsin. They aerial photographied a lot of the farms.
That was the greatest place ever.
There's the truck.
Oh, really? Are you a Douglas? No, I'm not a. Oh, you just go.
Sometimes you just gotta look into some old newspapers. Newspapers.com has got a lot.
Well, first pick.
And here's the yep. Oh, thanks.
I would take a bunch of the voice.
Glass is hard. I hate doing glass. It's like
Oh, especially, yeah, you can't take a flash of it. It's just.
no. So, but here, let's run around and here's the gold ribbons. There's the good snacks. And Shirley didn't have to bake this time. So,
Oh, that looks like Russ Nilsson.
could be.
Stainless steel with Paul Johnson said they were
This is darling.
Hi.
There was just something. Like this for Webster Electric.
I'm gonna go with Sun.
1963.
Actually, there, I think there's a couple of volumes of that.
Russ Vivian's agency. Yeah, all the Vivians.
Yep. Here, we need a picture of this duck.
Well, she did say something about
That looks really good.
Terry, for what reason? Me and Al were in the garden.
That's where we are down there.
Look at this picture.
Look, we got one more thing to take a look at.
Kenny's daughter, yeah.
I've never had duck.
I don't know. Stickers and everything, yeah.
Okay, I think I've, oops, I think I have everything, and come meet us at our next meeting. I did take a snapshot of that, and so Marge did talk about that, and I'll put it below the video of when our next meeting is, and hand me one of those. Thanks. So our next meeting is actually our potluck, and that will be on April 23rd, and otherwise, you can come see us at the Mercantile Building out at the county fair, and I might have this video out there, which would be really fun. Okay, I will, oh, wait a minute, I think I missed something. All right. Maybe Marge will have some of this stuff out there. Yep, this is all on duck memorabilia. Okay, if you missed the meeting, you missed something fun. So I'll see you later, and keep seeking that history. Okay, bye-bye.